What's going on, guys? This is going to be an off-the-cuff video where I'm just going to state a few of my thoughts here because I've seen a lot of people over the recent months get really excited and have been talking a lot about the idea of Berserk becoming a Netflix series, a new anime series, a Netflix series that would be either a continuation or some form of adapting the story of Berserk on Netflix. This information got passed around when Netflix struck a deal saying that they're going to have some more Dark Horse properties, and as you know, Dark Horse is the company that translates and publishes Berserk in the US, and so a lot of people have been speculating about that. Also, there's been this guy, Adi Shankar, who was the producer on the Castlevania Netflix series, who has expressed explicit interest in doing Berserk if that were ever a possibility. And do not get me wrong, there's nothing I'd like to see more than a full adaptation of the Berserk manga in an anime form, a new anime series. I'd be very excited to see it. However, I'm going to express my thoughts as to why I think a Netflix-specific Berserk series would be a horrible idea. And here's why. The first reason why would be Netflix budget constraints. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Netflix shows are on a very shoestring, bus fare type budget. They are made for practically nothing. If you even look at shows that were popular, like Daredevil Season 1, that show was made for practically nothing. And they had to come up with a lot of creative, stylistic choices in order to kind of flesh out the story and keep it going with the constraints of their budget. And if you look at Netflix animation specifically, many of the Netflix animations have extremely limited animation and also kind of work as creatively as they can to try to make the animation work as fluidly as they can, but with the budget being so small, it just, a lot of the times, just doesn't look very great. Take, for instance, the Godzilla films that they made with the CGI animation, which I thought looked absolutely awful. I enjoyed the storylines of those films very much, but the animation looked like crap. And take the Netflix adaptation of Baki as well, from Baki the Grappler. Now, I love Baki the Grappler. I love the 90s series, so I was very happy to see a continuation of it. And yes, I enjoyed it, but I won't lie, a lot of the times watching it, you're just watching characters standing there staring at each other, and they're barely moving. And when they do move, a lot of the times it's a freeze frame image that they would just kind of throw sound effects and music over to kind of give the illusion of animation. And this is a trick used in all forms of animation. I'm not saying this is something specific just to Netflix. All animation does this to save time and budget. However, with the Netflix animation, it's extremely apparent. Now, with a show like Agretsuko, it works really well because the limited kind of animation adds to the humor and comedy of what that show is. So in that specific instance, it works really well. Where it would not work well is in a Berserk series where you have somebody like Kentaro Miura creating this beautiful, majestic artwork that requires so much detail and so much love and care to be put into it to kind of bring it to life. And I don't feel like Netflix would have the budget to be able to do that, and we would get probably something along the lines of what everybody hates, which is the 2016 anime series, where they tried to do it with a CGI style and it wound up looking like crap. And so I just don't think Netflix would give Berserk the type of budget it would need to truly give us the anime experience that we deserve. Because Berserk, as much as in the fandom community is a big property and we all enjoy it, as far as mainstream audiences are concerned, they don't know what Berserk is. You know, it's not going to get the kind of clout and budget that it deserves in order to make it look the way that it should look. And so a lot of people want this guy, Adi Shankar, who produced the Netflix Castlevania series, to do the Berserk series. He's expressed some interest in doing it. He cites Berserk as an influence for doing Castlevania. And I feel like the animation was still really flat and limited, and that's not the fault of the animators whatsoever. That, again, goes to the budget and what they're allowed to do. Another reason why I think it would be a bad idea to do an adaptation on Netflix is no matter which way you shake it, we would not get a full adaptation of Berserk, which I think is what everybody wants. For it to start at the beginning of the manga and go through so we have a full, consistent version of Berserk. Because as of right now, we only have the 97 anime, which is just the Golden Age arc and cuts out a lot of stuff. The 2012 movies, which again is just the Golden Age and still cuts out a fair amount of stuff. and the 2016 anime, which covers some of the Conviction and Millennium Empire arcs, but isn't finished and has the worst animation out of all three. And so we have these three anime disjointed Berserk adaptations that don't connect with each other whatsoever, and we don't have a full story, and we still have skipped tons of the story. No one's ever adapted the Black Swordsman arc, no one's ever adapted the Lost Children chapters. It's just not in there. And if you want Adi Shankar to do the Berserk adaptation, he's already expressed within tweets and whatnot that he would not want to do the Golden Age arc. Hashtag not another Golden Age arc. Granted, it's been done 2 times in animation, but never with a full, fluid, consistent, entire story of Berserk, and never including everything, including the more of the intimate scene between Casca and Guts, or more of the backstory involving Donovan. I know these are kind of risque things to put in, but these are the things that you're going to need to put in to really truly adapt the story of Berserk. And if Adi Shankar doesn't want to do another Golden Age arc and he gets the rights to it, then we'll have yet again a 4th inconsistent, disjointed Berserk anime. Not to mention the fact that Netflix itself is extremely notorious for canceling its shows just about 3-4 seasons in, or sometimes even earlier. So to think that Berserk would be popular enough to continue going so that we would keep getting more seasons and get the entire story adapted, it's just not going to happen. It's going to get canceled before it finishes. And that's just the reality. I mean, besides, I know people are going to say, what about Stranger Things, yada yada. Yeah, that's one of the most popular shows probably in existence right now. It's extremely mainstream and popular, and yeah, it's really good, but Berserk's not going to make the audience on that level to the point where they would want to keep pumping out shows. I think the longest show Netflix had running was House of Cards, and again, that was extremely popular, produced by David Fincher, an acclaimed filmmaker, and so that's how it was able to keep going. Other shows, I mean, think about it, they canceled Daredevil after 3 seasons, they canceled Luke Cage after 2 seasons. There's a list of shows, I don't even know what half these are, but 7 Seconds canceled after 1 season, Everything Sucks canceled after 1 season, Disjointed canceled after 1 season, Love canceled after 3 seasons, Chelsea canceled after 2 seasons, Gypsy canceled after 1 season, Sense8 canceled after 2 seasons, The Get Down canceled after 1 season, Marco Polo canceled after 2 seasons, Bloodline canceled after 3 seasons, Hemlock Grove canceled after 3 seasons. 3 seems to be the magic number. And you want me to believe that Berserk is not going to get canceled from Netflix at some point before we get probably even to the Lost Children chapters, if that would be adapted? So in short, once again, I don't think a Netflix adaptation of Berserk would be a good idea because 1, the animation would be very stunted and limited. 2, if Adi Shankar does it, he's going to skip the Golden Age and we'll have another disjointed Berserk to add into the anime that already exists. And 3, even if they do start from the beginning, it's going to get canceled before it gets finished. So there's no way that we're going to have a full, consistent Berserk anime adaptation if Netflix does it. And look, I want an adaptation. I do. I just don't want it to come through Netflix because I foresee very bad things happening to it. And everyone seems to be very excited and gung-ho about it and wanting it to happen. But I just see it falling apart before it even begins. I just don't see it being a true possibility. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that Berserk will start. Maybe there will be a Netflix series. They'll find a way to fudge the animation so it looks really good. They'll start from the beginning. It won't get canceled, and it'll be great. It'll be highly acclaimed. Everyone will love it. That could possibly happen. I just don't foresee it happen, and these are my reasons why that I think that it would not do very well as a Netflix show. So tell me what you guys think down below. Do you want to see it adapted as a Netflix series? Do you want to see it just adapted in general? Starting from the beginning, would you want to see Adi Shankar produce it as he's expressed interest in it, and many fans seem to want him to? So what do you guys think? Let me know all that down below. Very curious to hear your thoughts, and I'll talk to you next time.